Hello everyone, this is Persephone and we are today into another video of Night Flirt advice, which is probably going to be my darkest video so far. Up to this point I have been making videos focusing on the money making and efficient aspect of being on Night Flirt, but I have been dealing with some extremely difficult situations health-wise and harassment-wise in my life. So I decided to share some things with you that I wish I had known when I started on Night Flirt, and they would have protected my mental health a lot and they would have helped me make more money. That being said, I have nothing against Night Flirt. I consider it a very good platform and it's going to have your back when it comes to outright abuse, but there are things that we need to put on big girl pants and do ourselves. Before we start, a quick thank to Ronald McDonald on Night Flirt and the other goblins on the Night Flirt forum. Not everyone there is a goblin, there are several very decent women, but there were specific women that a few months ago they told me that I deserve to be killed and they threatened me, and Ronald McDonald is one flirt that her face consists of a consecutive number of masks. We don't really know how she looks like, and she has been threatening me to send her lawyer and sue me, so I just wanted to let her know that I still haven't heard from your lawyer, Crickets, so if they're going to contact me, can you please do that, because I'm working on earning money fast, so maybe you will hear from my lawyer first eventually. So when you are on Night Flirt, you are going to encounter a very huge number of men who are covert narcissists. By covert narcissists, I don't know if you're familiar with that personality disorder. It's going to be men that they expect women to do all the work, and they expect that they are going to sit at home and opportunities will fall into their lap in general. And when that doesn't happen, they play the victim. Again, not everyone is this way, but it's going to be very difficult for you to survive, especially if you need money and you have to work there for many hours. And one other symptom of narcissism, both covert and overt, is that these men think that the rules don't apply to them, that everyone else on the side has to follow the rules, but they don't. Now you're going to say, Persephone, how does that translate on my daily shift on Night Flirt? Can you be more specific? Night Flirt has specific terms of service that they are very reasonable. No animals, no children or other minors, no rape fantasies, no scat fantasies, no incest, the lost boys looking for mommy, no poopy diapers, no weapons, and the list goes on and on. If I had $1 every time a covert narcissist client messaged me and expected me to break the rules just for him because he's so hot and so awesome, I would have been richer than Elon Musk and I would have been making this video from my own space station orbiting Mars. I'm going to be telling you the mistake I did when I started and how I deal with things now, and you are free to choose what method works for you or make your own method. In the past, when someone did something like that, I used to be polite and say, I'm really sorry, this is against the rules. We cannot do that, and they would insult me, they would hang up on my face, and so on. Now I'm very firm, and if someone mentions stuff like that, especially on chat, I block instantly. And there were cases when someone tried to mock me. There was an account from 2003, and he wanted me to call him daddy. And when I told him this is not allowed, and he pretended to not know, I said, you joined in 2003. How is it possible that we have 2025? And you don't know that? No one has ever told you. I don't suggest saying that, but when people treat me like a fool, I give back what I get. So if you work there, expect that the side, I don't know what is their banning ratio, but from my experience, if there are accounts from 2001 and they're still lost boys with poopy diapers who wanted to have sexual relationships that make me want to call Interpol, it's alarming. For me, I don't give second chances. One strike and you're out. You have to respect the rules of the site because it's my workplace and you have to respect me too. So I would say don't negotiate with terrorists, take no prisoners, and if someone does that, don't be afraid of the negative review. I have blocked this type of client right and left and not even one of them dared to leave a negative review. Why would you? It's not my obligation to entertain your poopy diaper. So be prepared that a lot of people will think that the rules do not apply to them. The second problem is that you are going to encourage men who have zero sexual game and men who expect extreme amounts of emotional labor, what I call mind reading. I'm seriously thinking getting heavily into tarot cards to start to get a tarot reading about what these men want, because I get these emails, and email is going to be the third part that caused me the mental breakdown, that they say, I want you to do whatever you want me to do. And then whatever I suggest, he doesn't like it. Or mesmerize me, dominate me, humiliate me. A bunch of extremely generic expressions that some people say, you're just an idiot, it's hypnosis, or it's feminization, or he wants to be a homosexual, whatever. I don't like that. In 2025, I did the amazing thing of starting to treat myself like a human being, which means if I provide the service, you need to be specific. Because the heterosexual men on vanilla campsites are specific. So you can do the same and you don't want to. Or when the conversation is this vague, it's because they want to talk you into dating them. So when someone is like that, I say now, hi, would you like to please be more specific? Because domination is a huge field and there are several different kinks, and the more specific you are, the more personal and pleasant and intense our experience will be. The ones who have some brain function get the message, they're more specific, and they do the session. If people say whatever you want, I turn them into fiendom nowadays. Although I'm not really into fiendom. I say, okay, I'm a goddess, I expect to be treated in such tributes, please. Or this type of session, please. And they disappear. I'm really tired of this laziness and this misogyny. Because what they don't understand is that it also looks stupid. You know, I'm past the point of caring. I'm going to say it as it is. Imagine you and me go to a restaurant and the waiter comes and he says, what do you want to order? Hello. And we say, surprise me, mesmerize me, whatever you want. Do you think this person is going to look at us and say, wow, sexy, smart ladies? Or he's going to say, what are these dumb asses? Or let's say you and me go to the supermarket and we stand there and we look at the cashier and the cashier looks at us and she says, where are your groceries? What are you buying? And I ask her, what are you buying for your house? Do you think she's going to say, oh, this woman is so smart? Security is going to be escorting us out before you know it. But it seems that femdom adult work is the only field where you can say, surprise me, seduce me, mesmerize me, without any explanation. When you say that, I want nothing to do with you. I'm so over it. So if this happens to you, I suggest be mentally prepared and have a list of things that you want to suggest to them. And if they don't like any of these things, bye. Third thing, I have said it on a previous video, I consider it life-saving at this point. You call me and you hang up on my face, instant block. I say this because I had my account drained from the same Braden, Jaden and Caden from Jerkwater Heights. They click on my listing. I pay for the bid, for the online ad, they call, they hang up, I lose money. Then the next week again. Then the next week again. On my previous video with Night Flirt Advice, I explain how you can see a percentage of the men who call you, their usernames. Keep a spreadsheet and block the people who repeatedly call you again and again. I have records on my notes because you can keep notes for your clients. There is a tab under each client where I write sessions that they were horrifically bad. That not necessarily for the client, but also for me. People who make me feel very uncomfortable, people who insulted me, people who sexually harassed me, people who broke the rules. And I thought that I wouldn't hear from them again. I don't know if they have early dementia or I have extreme ADHD and they forget who they call. I don't say this to insult people with dementia or ADHD. I'm just saying this is how it looks like. And they call again and again and it never goes well. And I'm practically paying to work on Night Flirt. I won't do that. I refuse to do that. If I work somewhere, you pay me. I won't pay you through bidding. So if you are new and you're bleeding money right and left, cut off these leeches. I don't understand why they even do it. Another thing is the people who are calling me to talk me into dating them. What a cancer. I'm telling you, this is a cancer in my life that I'm going to purge whatever means necessary. People who are calling me, I made the mistake, the grave mistake years ago on YouTube to talk about chastity. They are calling me and they are like, I need you to send you my chastity keys. No, you don't. I'm not going to have the keys of the chastity device of some man from the other side of the planet. We are not in a real relationship. If chastity is your king, great, good for you, more power to you. Find a local key holder. Make your girlfriend or your wife the key holder. Pay a local pro dom to be the key holder. It's not going to be me because you found me on YouTube. Nope, they won't accept it. Now I say it's out of the question, and that's that. I mean, what is going to happen if you say you have a medical emergency and you need to go to the hospital and you are locked in custody and I have the keys and I'm in another country? Can you imagine the mess? I don't want this level of drama in my life. Also, I decided to be honest with people. I don't recommend this one. I'm just telling you what I do because I have reached a point where I used to put a price tag on my mental health. Not anymore. Someone asked me recently, would you be in an open relationship with me? And I said no. In the past, I wouldn't have been so clear on Night Flirt. I would have said things like, I'm not dating right now, or I'm dedicated on building my career right now, or other things that I'm ashamed looking back at this lying. That it was me trying to protect myself and to protect their ego. I'm not protecting anyone's ego. I told this guy, I'm sorry, I don't do open relationships. I find them pointless and degrading. If I have 3 guys to satisfy my needs, I have 3 men that they don't work for me and I need to be single. And try to find someone who does cover my needs. And if there is no one, I'm going to die alone, and that's that, and I'm fine with it. I've made my peace with it. And second, because I'm a person, believe it or not, that if I don't have feelings for you, and if we don't have compatibility in daily life, I don't want to have a relationship with you. We don't need to have one. I know that this comes as very, very opposite to femdom, but I don't care. If I'm going to have femdom clients, they need to have a level of emotional maturity to understand that this is a paid service. I'm not saying to make up boyfriends, illnesses, pregnancies, amnesia, and so on. But I would say if you are married and they ask you, you can say it. If you're single and they ask you, you can say it. Or you can lie. That's up to you. The important advice to keep is decide what you're going to say beforehand, because a lot of these men are going to constantly trying to insert yourself in your real life. The only thing that you should never, ever, ever say is that you're a mom. Because you are going to attract the type of person that needs massive euthanization. People who are going to discuss your baby or your child in ways that I don't even want to bring to my mind the things that I have heard. Although I'm not a mother, I don't have any children. I'm only going to say that I have encountered these men on different sites, not on Night Flirt, luckily, and I have reported each and every one of them to Interpol. All of them. And I'm going to continue doing so. You talk about the 5-year-old, I'm your enemy. None of your business. So if someone starts this type of conversation, decide beforehand if you're going to say something. And of course, you're a human being, I'm a human being. You can also say, I'm here to flirt, my personal life is not up for discussion. But I have to tell you, if you tell that, you're going to lose money because they feel entitled to your personal life, they feel entitled to your time, they feel entitled to everything. Another humanoid cancer on Night Flirt is going to be a lot of the other flirts. I was laughing earlier, she actually inspired me to make this video. I constantly look at the forum, I never post anymore. And it's interesting that after that I posted screenshots on YouTube about the horrendous abuse that I went through on the forum because of a simple disagreement. I got so many messages from women who said, yeah, the forums are toxic waste dumps. Why didn't you guys tell me beforehand so that I don't even go there? But anyway, there was this woman that she was asking, how much do you charge for your cam listing? Fair enough, you're a new flirt, you ask. And then there was some goddess there. How should I call her? Goddess Brenda the catfish. Let's call her Brenda. How do they say Jane Doe for the unidentified bodies in the true crime series? We're going to have Goddess Brenda and Ronald McDonald. The Ronald McDonald is the goddess who told me you don't deserve to live, and Goddess Brenda is what I'm going to describe right now. She hijacked the question and she made it all about herself. And she started saying, my cam listing is $6 a minute. I never show any nudity. I'm always fully dressed. I offer nothing to the subs. It's about what I want them to do for me and they don't get anything from me. I have strap-ons, I have butt plugs, I have all kinds of devices, but I rarely use them. I just sit there and I direct the session. These people will give you brain Ebola. I'm going to tell you, first of all, I don't believe this. I think this is all a bunch of lies. Before you say you don't make this type of money and you are envious, I'm going to say I'm going to believe it and apologize when I see proof. Recently, I was on the Are Cam Girl Problems on the Reddit forum reading, and there was a woman that she said that she made $10,000 in 1 week on StreamAid, one of the top models there. And other women challenged her. They said, where is the proof? And she took screenshots of her earnings and posted them on the forum. I respect that woman. And if she made 10,000 in 1 week working 14-hour days, good for her, more power to her. On NiteFlirt, all of these stories about goddess Brenda that she just sits there fully clothed and gets $6 per minute, I have yet to see any proof. I'm waiting to hear from the Ronald McDonald's lawyer and from this woman who is making $60,000 a month on NiteFlirt. These people will ruin your self-esteem. They will constantly be posting these stories. If you make a question on the forum, they will be attacking you. They're going to start making you feel like a loser. There are women there who say, I'm always gold every month. Only verbally. Where is that gold? Show us. So I would say, if there is no proof, I'm not interested personally. If there is proof, I'm going to say, wow, good for you. How did you do it? Give us advice. I'm more than happy to accept advice from people better than me. From people on the sci-fi section of the bookstore spinning stories, yeah, okay, we don't have time for that. But if you're in a vulnerable position, if you have low self-esteem, if you're just beginning and you feel insecure, this kind of posting can really get you. And I'm going to be petty here for a minute, and I'm going to tell you, I find this a very big turn-off personally, sexually. That only the man has to be naked and I have to be clothed, or, oh, I don't do anything for you and you still have to pay me $6 a minute. This is not the type of person that personally I want to be. And this is not the way I want to make money. I have been body shamed a lot in my life. I have been body shamed by my narcissistic family. I have been body shamed after I put on 20 pounds in 1 week because I was on prednisone. I have been body shamed when I rapidly lost the weight and I didn't, supposedly I had people, I'm derailing the video for a minute, but I want to say that. I have severe autoimmune problems, including IBS, and this, when you have a flare-up, you can lose up to 30 pounds. And I had someone who recently told me, you looked like a model back then, you looked so hot. And I had someone told me, you look like a drug addict, about the same looks. And they were both so mentally bad things to say to someone struggling with their body image. So the idea that I have to stay clothed and essentially what? Be a prude, cover my body. We are doing adult work here. Get on with the times. If you never want to take your clothes off for anyone, I would say you're not fit for this business. That's my humble opinion. And also because how many women can really do that? She presents it as if it's so easy, as if it's the norm. Meanwhile, I had many quote-unquote subs on NiteFlirt who told me, well, I stopped serving that goddess and I serve you because you wear bikinis and you wear short skirts and you get naked on Skype and you don't have this inhibition. So the way I see it, this kind of post, because the forum is public, gives to women who are outside the industry the idea that they can just show up and be fully clothed and made $6 a minute. I give better chances to winning the lottery than this. And I would say there is a chance that someone can do that. You can attract extremely manipulative people, extremely mentally abusive, needy people, that yeah, they don't care to get you to be naked because they care to erode your boundaries. Some of the worst abusers that I have encountered in my years in the adult industry and in femdom were men that they weren't interested in the sexual part of the interaction, that they were interested in the mind game part, and I don't do mind games. So I would say be very, very careful, and again, decide beforehand what are your boundaries. If you don't want to get naked, I'm never telling you to do something you don't want to do. I'm only going to tell you that it's going to make it much harder to make money, but you call the shots. I'm just telling you that if someone doesn't present proof, see this as a fantasy story. That's what I do, and it protects me a lot. I trust my own experience, things that worked, and things that someone has a spreadsheet, someone has a screenshot, receipts. Another thing that is going to drive you crazy is the emails. If I had $1 every time a man sent me an email, I would have been richer than Elon Musk, and I would have a second space station to orbit Mars in case I'm bored of the first one and I want to move elsewhere. There are several types of men who send emails, and I'm going to tell you that starting last month after I left the hospital, I don't respond to 80% of them. I believe, and I have sent repeated emails on NiteFlirt to discuss this, that the first email the client sends should always be free, but if he wants to send several consecutive ones, he should be charged for that. They completely ignore me. Fine, you run your business. Why do I say that? There are cases where there was a client that he had a legitimate question and he wanted to send an email and ask. And I don't have a problem answering to that at all. For example, I had people who recognized me from YouTube and they said, hey, are you really Persephone from YouTube? What do you do here? Or they said, you know, there was this specific YouTube video that you talked that really resonated with me. Is it okay to call you to discuss just that? Or there were men who didn't know who I was, but they wanted a very specific webcam session. And they would say, you know, there was someone that he wanted me to have a specific type of yoga pants that he saw me wearing. I have videos on many vids that they are with yoga pants. And there was some video called Yoga Pants Obsession. I don't even remember, to be honest. And he really liked that video. He came from many vids to Night Flirt because I'm trying to promote Night Flirt with everything that I have, believe it or not, although the CB sinking. And he messaged me and he said, you know, I want the session with this specific pair of pants. Do you have it? It's totally fine to ask me that. And I'm going to respond yes or no, and we are going to do it or we are not going to do it. The second type of email that, again, I don't mind is a guy who says, hi, I haven't been around. I just wanted to let you know that this week I'm going to be on Night Flirt every day. If I see you, I'm happy to do a session. Again, I don't even have to respond, or I can say, great, when you see me, call me, and it ends. Now, the cancerous type of emails are the guys who are going to use the email essentially as a chat. Night Flirt chat is $1 per volley. Every time someone sends you something, they pay $1, and the flirt gets 66 cents from that. I feel that I'm working on a third world country. It pisses me off so much that they cannot increase my chat price, or I cannot offer chat blocks like I do on many vids. For example, on many vids, I can say, hey, 30 minutes of texting, $50, or 30 minutes of texting as an award if you buy all my videos. And I can make the price go up and down like it's the stock market, depending on what I do. Also, if someone is a repeated chatter on many vids, because I have people on many vids that they really love sexting me, these people get discounts, obviously. When you are sexting me every week and I make $700, $800 out of you and you buy videos, of course I'm going to give you freebies. It's normal, right? It's basic business. But on Night Flirt, we are stuck on the 66 cents. Fine. Then they are sending me, hi, how are you? This is a real thing. I'm looking for an evil, really evil woman. Are you evil? Do you really expect me to respond to this verbal diarrhea that you just sent me on a jar? Or I have someone saying, hey, have you ever imagined of being a superhero who is drowning a submarine of men in the sea by punching a hole in the submarine? Can you describe me what you would do to them? I refuse to respond to this type of email, and I'm actually offended that you assume that I'm a serial killer and I would do this to men on a comic book or not. Then I have these people that they are sending me what I call imaginary girlfriends / sexual harassment. Why aren't you online? When are you going to be online? What is your schedule? Why aren't you here? Why did you say this on YouTube? Who are you dating? Why don't you date me? Why don't you get my chastity? It's like this accusatory, whiny, worst boyfriend in the world type of email. This is not just ignore, this is also block. Then there are people who say something, and sometimes I don't even see it because I wake up to 10 emails, and then like they put on big boy pants and they send the exact same thing on a chat. And I'm like, oh, so you knew that the chat function was there, and after you got ignored, then you remembered it. Seriously. So you're not dumb, you're just playing dumb to get free interaction. Then the other metastasizing tumor client is the one that he says, hi, what is your Skype? I know you know it. Skype is going away on May. Rest in peace, Skype. Teams does not allow adult content, so people are using Discord and Telegram for cams. I would much rather put a gun on my head and pull the trigger than use Discord and Telegram. And the reason for that is because I'm the type of person that if you harass me relentlessly to a point of breakdown for something, I'm never going to do it just to harass you back. So I had these people, it started from Skype, but now it metastasizes to these platforms. They say, hi, can you send me your Skype? And at first I was so naive, and I was thinking the person must be interested in a session, so I'm going to send them the Skype so we can do the session. And I used to add them on Skype. And then they started a free chat on Skype. Or they started calling me on Skype randomly without first connecting Night Flirt phone with cam. Or they started messaging me turkey neck penis pictures on Skype, and I also had the Einstein thing of having Skype on my phone. So there was a time that I was in public and Skype rang, And I have some of my actual friends on Skype, so I clicked, and there was a turkey neck penis, and there were old ladies around me, and some of them must have peeked over my shoulder, because next thing that I know, everyone around me has left, and I'm sitting there alone. And after that, I had to obviously uninstall Skype from that phone, and that's how you ended up having 4 burner phones and looking like a drug lord. Anyway, I'm not going to make this about my problems, although some days I do have the hardest life anyone has ever had on the planet. I'm just going to say that there are many people that they're going to want your Discord or your Telegram or your Skype or your WhatsApp to add you as free contact. And never, ever, ever forget, the #1 rule is for these people to talk you into dating them. 80% of them bypass all natural mating processes. They're convinced that their looks don't matter. They're convinced that you're extremely sexually aroused by male homosexuality. Most women are not. Most women do not get turned on seeing a man giving oral sex to another man. I'm not talking about these women who are fujoshi and they watch BLs and they are on BL forums. These are a different subcategory. So the only logical reason is that if they are on NiteFlirt to find a girlfriend, you must be on NiteFlirt to find a boyfriend. The fact that they are paying you by the minute will never, ever, ever cross their mind. It's blocked. So I would say, if you really want to go down the masochist road of doing this, that is not on a cam platform, then you should have extremely firm boundaries. And when someone asks for your Skype, to ask them back and say, are you interested in a session? I'm happy to tell you. I'm happy to give it to you. But I need to know what kind of session beforehand. When are we going to do it? Because some of these men think that I'm going to be online 24/7, waiting for when their turkey neck penis is going to be ready for the session. You have to know what is going to happen in the session, because if it's going to be one of these mesmerize me type of sessions, they're not going to like your mind reading and you're going to be blocked and you're going to get a bad rating. You also need to know what kind of sessions, because at first when I was a noob and I wasn't asking, poopy diapers appeared in the middle of the session. And that has to be avoided because it's traumatizing and it's against the rules. And also, to avoid the free chit chat. I used to say to people, I cannot chat with you on Skype because, shocking news, I'm working on NiteFlirt to get paid, and when we chat for free on Skype, I cannot make any money. How did this happen? I know. It's unbelievable. You heard this from me. Chatting with strangers on Skype for free doesn't make you any money. Okay, moving on from that, I have reached the point where my mental health is extremely important to me. So I decided to protect it by not engaging in this to begin with. I love taking phone calls on NiteFlirt because I'm getting paid by the minute. The moment I pick up the phone and we connect with the client, I get paid. And I really like taking chats because I'm getting paid by the volley. I have no choice but to do coming on other coming platforms, because on the coming platform, when the private show begins, it begins. I'm not going to share these platforms. This is a video about NiteFlirt, and also I want to do good in these platforms. I recently started in 2 platforms, and I'm right now at the very, very bottom. I have no following there. I don't do femdom there. No one knows me there. It's hell there. All of my joins hit. I have to be online every day. But at least I don't have the random Skype phone call at 3 a.m. I have reached the point of reckoning that there is no pain I'm not going to go through to not have to go through this Skype inferno again. The choice is yours. If you want to try Telegram and Discord, do so, and you're free to write your experiences in the comments so I can also learn from you, because I'm not going to be there. I'm saying this because I find it very difficult to coordinate phone with cam anymore on NiteFlirt. On Skype, I was kind of holding on. Now I'm not. I really, really wish from the bottom of my heart that NiteFlirt would offer an integrated cam feature where I press a button like on any other cam site and the camming begins. I really need this in order to function mentally. Again, I understand that I'm just a worker on NiteFlirt. I'm nobody there, so they run their business the way they want to. I'm just saying this is something that really harmed my mental health, and I don't want the same thing to happen to you. Last but not least, never put all of your eggs in one basket. One of the reasons that I started on other platforms, and I also offer other kinds of content, and I do YouTube and I film adult videos, is because the last 2 summers for me have been brutal on NiteFlirt. I'm not saying that this is everyone's experience. Maybe that goddess that sits fully clothed and makes $6 per minute offering nothing, according to her own words, maybe she's making $20 per minute every summer, doing nothing again. because they say that I'm the one who is a loser, who cannot make any money, so that's why I'm making these videos. But that's fine, to each their own. I'm only going to say that in June, both last year, June, and the year before that, my income went from 4,000 to 5,000 per month to 800 overnight. There were several days that I was on the negative. NiteFlirt had become a cemetery for me in the summer. And this happened on NiteFlirt way more intensely than on other cam platforms. There are going to be several liberal flirts on the forums that they are going to say it's the economy, it's Trump, it's the full moon, it's that you're a Pisces, it's that your client passed away. They're going to have many reasons. But I didn't notice the same thing on other cam platforms. The traffic there has a maybe 15% reduction, but it doesn't have the 80% that NiteFlirt has. So I had to investigate on my own and find the reason. And the reason is that my clientele on NiteFlirt is much older men than my clientele on other platforms, let's say xHamster or ManyVids or Chaturbate. In these platforms, you can have many men in their 20s or early 30s that they are single. The clients on NiteFlirt are mostly married men, middle-aged men, or even senior citizens. A lot of them are married and they have children and grandchildren. So during the summer, the wife is at home, the kids are at home, the expenses increase, so they don't have the same privacy and finances to call you. Also, summer is the time of dreams for many people. There are many people that they convince themselves that this is the year that they are going to find this summer true love with a woman that is going to be amazingly beautiful and she's going to have a golden heart and she's going to love them unconditionally, despite the fact that their turkey neck penis is 2 inches and they are 3,000 pounds and they live at their mom's basement, and she's going to put them on a list and take them to the glory hole and enjoy watching them servicing 20 men there and then come home and they're going to get married. This is a summer fantasy. We are all humans. We all have fantasies of romance. I don't judge. The problem is they're going to chase this fantasy all summer. Women won't even spit on their direction, and then they are going to come back in September. So I'm making this video early May. If you are watching this, I would say diversify your income. Start a side gig, and if it's too late for that, just cut down on your expenses to survive the lean summer. Camming is a job that I believe you need to have the soul of a gambler to endure it. It's feast or famine all the time for most people, unless you are very, very successful. You are very much on the top. So I don't want this to happen to you. The first time it happened to me, it really shocked me. I was very used to the easy $1,000 a week on top of everything else that I was making, and losing all that overnight, although I was sitting more hours than usual. From 9 hours, there were times that I sat 14 hours and there was no traffic, there was nobody, no it even clicks on my listings. And that is so damaging for your mental health. It starts to make you feel worthless. It starts to make you doubting your attractiveness, your skills, your future. You start feeling, especially if you are like me and you have CPTSD from childhood abuse, CPTSD creates a feeling of doom and permanence, that when you feel that you're failing right now, you feel that you're always going to be failing and you have to ground yourself. And it was honestly awful. So I'm saying, maybe it's not just me. Maybe the traffic is going to go down a lot, but I don't believe that it's the economy. And despite all the hardships, I want you to have a positive and entrepreneurial mindset, that it doesn't matter that the recession is here. There were times in recessions that the biggest fortunes ever happened in the recessions. There is huge opportunity in crisis. Because yes, there are a lot of people losing their jobs, there are a lot of people downsizing, but there is this epidemic of male loneliness, which in my humble opinion originates from male delusion. These men aren't truly lonely. It's not that women don't want you. It's that the women you want don't want you. Not the same at all. I started telling this man on YouTube, don't say this to anyone, this is going to be a secret, that I'm telling you to close this video. If you are 50 and you are an ageist pig and you say women at 50 are disgusting and they have given birth and their bodies are disgusting, so I don't want to date any woman my own age and I want you to fly over to Jelkoter Heights so you can take me to the glory hole every day, I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to accept that women at 50 are disgusting, which I don't, men at 50 should also be disgusting. Like what? Are men at 50 immune to aging? This woman has given birth to your children and she looks so bad. And you look like Brad Pitt in his 20s? Where is it? Send me a picture. But the times where I had humiliation sessions and I had talks like that with people when I went off the rails, not on NiteFlirt, but I have done this on other platforms, I received pictures that it wasn't a good day to have eyesight and see them. I'm only going to say this: gaping body parts and the poopy diaper, that's always there. So I don't have this type of conversation anymore. I'm only going to tell you, when you see someone on a forum ranting about Mercury retrograde and being a Gemini and Trump cutting off their finances, you immediately stop reading and you focus on the fact that there are millions of dollars to be made. On Chaturbate alone, they have $30 million in tokens bought every month. 30 million. Can you imagine that amount? We can get more of our fair share of that pie. Nightflirt had 8 million, I think, when I saw somewhere recently. Still a pretty good amount of money. So if you are there and you are making pennies, there are a number of things that they don't work in your favor, that we are going to sit down and find them and fix them together. I did it for me, I'm going to do it for you. So if you liked this video and you want me to make more, please like it, leave your comments and your questions and your experiences and whatever else you want in the comment section. I'm going to be making more videos. I'm compiling a list of questions that people have sent me. And drive Ronald McDonald and all of the other fully dressed goddesses that they bring nothing to the table and they are proud of it. Drive them out of business. Poach all of their clients. Thank you for watching.